This is Chapter 4, Section 2, Part 1, Socialization and Self. Take notes as we go through today's information so you'll have it for the check for understanding and for your test at the end of the chapter. So if you remember back to Chapter 1, we talked about the three sociological perspectives. There was functionalist perspective, conflict perspective, and symbolic interactionist perspective. So the first two, functionalist and conflict, have the least developed theory on socialization. We're going to talk about those today. Symbolic interactionist, however, has a very developed theory and perspective on socialization, and we're going to focus on that part in our next lesson. So from the functionalist perspective, they believe that all pieces of society must work together for a society to work, and mainly putting emphasis on schools and families being the most responsible for socializing children. And it is important to keep in mind that all sociological perspectives think that socialization is vital to a society to be able to continue. But the functionalist perspective emphasizes that every piece of the puzzle must take care of itself in order for the other pieces to also be successful. So there's this interdependence on each part of society. If one part of society is falling apart or not functioning properly, the other pieces will also have some negative impacts. And so that's really important in understanding functionalists, is that they all are interdependent on each other. Therefore, if families and schools fail at socializing children, that could have negative impacts on things like the economy, right? Because schools and families socialize children to work and be within society, and if children don't know how to do that as adults, then financially our government will suffer and our country will suffer. So there's that emphasis on teaching children to be functioning members of society. Conflict perspective and socialization views socialization as a way of perpetuating the status quo. Remember, in conflict theory, the idea is that you always have different groups who are constantly at odds with each other, trying to gain more power. And so the idea here is that children are socialized and they accept their status in life, their social status, before they even become aware of it. And this benefits those who are in the highest classes of society, because by the time people realize what social class they're in, the idea here is with this theory that it will be much harder for them to challenge that position than if they know from the start where they are within society and how to challenge that position.